Hello, good afternoon. So as I said in my go live last night, I am actually looking at our group wrapping up both the Queen and the King of Pentacles today. So I just finished doing my research on the Queen of Pentacles, and my plan is, once I'm done with this go live, I'll research our King of Pentacles for a bit, and I will hop back on and present him. And then at that point, we will be done with all 78 cards in the tarot. I am like so proud of us. This is a milestone for our group, so I'm really proud of that. So bear with me. So let's see here. I'm just logging on to Facebook, and I'm going to see if I can see this go live here. Very good. All right, very good. So I've got my Facebook pulled up to where I can look over and see your comments. And of course, no stress if, you guys are at work or you're busy, because I get, it's a little bit later on in the afternoon. So many of you may still be at work or commuting home. And I'm hoping that wherever you are, that you're safe and that you've had a good day. And if you haven't had a good day, just kind of keep it all in context and know that's just... It is a part of life to have good and bad days, and I really feel like we appreciate our good days because of the not so great days. Because if we always had great days, then one, that's unrealistic, but secondly, you wouldn't appreciate them half as much, I don't think. So we're going to dive right into our Queen of Pentacles. And just like I've been doing this week, I really love the books that I've been getting my info on regarding the cards. So I will be reading from them as well as referencing the notes that I've taken. So I'm going to hold our Queen of Pentacles up. I want you to assess what the central figure is doing, what she's holding, what she's sitting on. Again, taking in just all the detail there. And then I want you to take in her environment. Everything that is around her. Notice the little rabbit in the corner. All of this beautiful vegetation, right? All these beautiful roses, grass, water. Look at her feet. The predominant color use that's used in this card, the various things, different pictures that you'll see on her throne here that she sits upon. And yeah, and how does this card make you feel? Do you feel comfortable or not comfortable, or maybe a bit neutral? It's totally, normal to have different cards in tarot that we are drawn to more so than other ones. So that's one of the reasons I asked that. And it's also a way of building up your intuition, It's like getting your own gut feel for a card and interpreting it on your own before you even look and say what the book that comes with the deck says. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read from Rachel Pollack's Tarot Wisdom, Spiritual Teaching and Deeper Meanings. Love, love, love this book. It's a meaty book, very helpful. And I'll hold our card back up. So Rachel says, the Queen of Pentacles embodies the Empress as strongly as the King of Swords takes the role of the Emperor. The two cards occupy very different realms, each one self-sufficient. In the Queen of Pentacles, we find a deep love of nature, a joy in whatever grows from the ground. As water of earth, she brings passionate love to the living world. In the Rider deck, she sits in nature with no buildings in sight, compared to the Pentacles King, whose palace stands behind him. I will briefly hold him up since we will be covering him today. So see, our King of Pentacles has his castle. not very far away whatsoever. But see, our queen is away from all that. She's in nature. It's also important to point out, just like that feminine lunar energy, like we've referenced the triple moon, how the moon can be seen as feminine, the sun is masculine. The queens in tarot, all of them, being that they're feminine energies, they are very much intuitive. So very much water-based, even though they're in different suits. So keep that in mind as well. Wait like this queen. He describes her as summed up in the idea of greatness of soul and the serious cast of intelligence. She contemplates her symbol and may see worlds therein. In my own developmental view, the queen represents mastery of the suit/element. And again, remember, pentacles are of the earth. With pentacles, she is the master of nature, not in the sense of controlling it, but in her deep and passionate attachment. The Shining Tribe Gift of Stones shows 2 temples from the island country of Malta. And I'll hold this book up here so you guys can see the card, and I'll keep reading about it from Rachel's point of view. So see, totally different, right? Different art that's used. And now I'm going to go ahead and keep reading about that card. Seen from above, the larger one on the left forms the outline of a goddess's body, known as Gentia or female giant by the local people. The temple may be the world's oldest building, dated at 6,000 years. Everything in the picture is doubled. 2 temples, 2 spirals, 2 stick figures, so that the gift becomes intense joining with other people and with nature. And I'll hold it back up so you can see that. Isn't that cool? The obscure name Argene may have been an anagram of Regina, which is Latin for queen, a reference to various queens, including Marie de Medicis, who came to France from Italy and was so appalled at the wretched food that she imported chefs and taught the French how to cook. The love of good food is certainly part of the Queen of Pentacles. Others say the name is a variant of Argia, who was a queen of the fays or fairies. And I'll go ahead and show you guys the other pictures Rachel has in her book for this card. And that's the really cool thing about looking at different decks and seeing how they draw various cards. It just adds layers of depth to them, which is really, really cool. Hi, Haley. Welcome. And now, let's see, we'll go ahead and we'll move into our other book here. So I think before I do that, I'll point out a couple various things about the Queen of Pentacles. So what we have, and a man can have this energy too, even though this is obviously a woman in this picture. In tarot, the sex does not matter. What we are concerned about with is the energy of the card, right? Each card has a different energy, also known as like a different medicine, right? So what we have here is somebody very grounded and happy in nature. She is comfortable, okay, with what she has. This is, you know, just like Rachel pointed out in her narrative, very much tied into, say, our Empress card, which is the mother of tarot, right? So this is somebody who can create. Literally, she can give birth to human beings. You give her, you know, whatever it is from nature, she can cook you a meal from it. You give her wood, she can help construct a house and make a home out of it. This is like, think of the roots of a tree. This is like mother. This is earth. This is what everybody has ties to, right? We come from the earth and we return to the earth. This is very much earthly energy. So her focus, because we very much have focus in this picture, is on the pentacle that she holds. Now, what makes her different from, say, our page or our knight is this is somebody who is successful. She is comfortable with what she has. Now, it is possible from a financial viewpoint, she could be wealthy. However, that's not the determinant of somebody being comfortable and successful. I mean, sure, you know, like money can help pay the bills and help us feel more secure, and we all want to feel that way. However, this is someone she'll take whatever you give her, and she's going to make it work and make something from it. She is a creator, a nurturer, a mother. So this is somebody, whether it be her own family, her friends, co-workers, this is the energy where they're going to take care of the people around them. You know, if she has food, he or she, they're going to share that food, and very gladly so. What else? If there's a lesson to be learned, this is also like a mentor in your life, either personally or professionally. When you talk to them about something that's been bugging you or not quite working out well, they'll be like, you know, let me tell you what worked for me and what didn't. Very much the helper, homemaker. I think I referenced that. Mentor. Very much, very logical, very intelligent, again, because she's a queen, like all of our queens in tarot, very intuitive, in touch with her intuition, plus she has logic. So just like anybody who would be in a leadership position, such as our queens and kings in tarot, she definitely balances her logic with her watery side, which would be her intuition. And we have in her throne a pair, which I found out from my research comes from the Rose family. I did not know that. And then there's roses hanging above her. Both of those are very symbolic of fertility, you know, and love. So when you think of red roses, think of many of us who, you know, say, for example, if you've been on dates and your suitor brings over a bouquet of red roses, red is synonymous as a color of love, you know. The rabbit that we're seeing here in the corner, you know how rabbits have the reputation, if you put a male and female together, that they have a lot of sex and they have a lot of babies. That wasn't purposely put in there to reflect that this person, this energy, very fertile, very much the creator, gets their hands dirty, loves getting their hands dirty, and is happiest outside in nature, very much feels grounded, self-sufficient. Even though, yes, there's a king in tarot, this is somebody who's comfortable being by themselves. So we do have a little bit of hermit vibes here, to where she is alone. There are no other people in the picture, but this energy is not averse to being around other people as well. She's just simply grateful and content for what she has in this life. And yeah, and then her crown has a sun with wings, which is a nod toward, say, it's showing the elevation and status, success, you know, it very much like the sun vibes, a knowledge, illumination, enlightenment. We have a lot of yellow, we have red, which very much has that love, you know. It would be the one main descriptor that comes to my mind with this central figure. We'll go ahead and we'll go into Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot, using the cards to make your dreams come true. Again, this is a recent acquisition of mine, and I love this book. It is so cool. It's not too big either, and it's really informative. You know, I've really loved this book from the time I picked it up. And so as I hold up the card, I'm going to read about it from her book. And she does a really great job of going into all the various symbols too, so we'll go into that. So it says, your adventure with the Queen of Pentacles. A queen sits on a throne in a beautiful field. In her hands, she holds a golden pentacle. Around her, flowers blossom, and a rose arbor in full bloom arches over her head. Her throne is decorated with images of cherubs, fruit, and a goat's head. A little rabbit runs by her feet. Her crown is decorated with a winged solar disc and a long green veil, which on my card, it does maybe yellowish green. There is some green tint to that. The Queen of Pentacles is the queen of abundance in all forms. The flowers around her, the fruit images on her throne, and the big gold coin in her hand, of course, all represent her ability to manifest the things she needs in her life with extra to spare. Where the page and knight were looking at abundance in the future, she is seeing abundance in the here and now. She is also the spirit of generosity. Have you ever invited friends over for dinner and had so much leftover food that you wanted them to take a plate home? That is the type of unselfish nature this queen possesses. The fruit and flowers attest that she has more than she could ever use herself, and the rabbit in the right corner represents her ability to bring in more once she gives that away. So see, this author sees the rabbit as a symbol of her abundance, although like other people such as Rachel or even online when I researched the card, they see it very much as a sign of fertility. Let's see here. Oh, and then she goes into it. That little brown rabbit also represents her fertility. That can mean literal fertility in the form of a pregnancy, or it can mean her prolific ability to create and launch projects. So again, she is a creator. This queen doesn't give away the abundance she has created because she thinks it's worthless. Quite the opposite. She looks down at the pentacle in her hand with great contemplation. She values her gifts and sees sharing them as a way of showing her love to others. And I can totally relate to that as a mother, and because I'm Southern. Back home, that's kind of like one of the first things we do when somebody comes over. We ask them if they want something to eat or drink, because that's a way of making them feel welcome and at home, and it's a basic courtesy. And I know when I cook food for people, that's my way of showing them that I care about them, is by making sure that they have a very good meal to eat, that they are not hungry, that they have stuff to drink, and that they're comfortable. So I can very much relate to that energy, and I bet a lot of you can too. You know, especially as mothers, we take on this energy a lot, or even a lot of men do too. Just they're nurturers, or especially if they're single parents and they have to be both the stereotypical mother and father. There's a lot of men who have this too, this energy. The goat head on her throne represents the astrological sign of Capricorn, a creature that is half goat, half fish. I'll move the card. You see the goat right there toward the middle of the upper portion of her throne? The constellation of Capricorn is sometimes identified with the Greek myth of Amalthea, the goat whose broken horn was transformed into the cornucopia, the horn of plenty. So see, that's where that comes from. I know I generally see it when I watch Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. You'll see a cornucopia. Well, we now know where that comes from. The cornucopia is a magical horn that endlessly produces bounty. The qualities of Capricorn also apply to the Queen of Pentacles. Practical, traditional, ambitious, goal-oriented, and disciplined. When this card shows up in a reading, it is a message that these qualities will be the source of long-lasting abundance. You know, and again, I know a lot of us think money may come into play. This is somebody who's made a life with what they have and has those friends and family and those ties to their community that you can't put a price on that. That makes them wealthy, right? And that whole law of attraction, you put out abundance, you get more in return, right? So this is not a selfish person whatsoever. So our author says key symbols to know would be the cherubs, mean angelic protection, crown, divine authority, flowers, blossoming, sensual abundance, fruit, practical abundance. The goat is cornucopia, bounty. The green veil, growth, wealth. Mountains, ability to attain higher levels of consciousness. Pentacle, knowing the value of what she shares. Queen, nurturing, financially generous. Rabbit, fertility, plenty. There's our little rabbit. Red dress, connected to the senses. Rivers, flowing, thriving. So you see those in the background. So we definitely have the water there. A rose arbor, a gateway to understanding spirituality through the senses. So just think of how awesome those roses smell. White blouse, spiritually aware. And also think of truth when we see white. A wing, solar disc, divinity. It's goddess energy. And let's see here. What the Queen of Pentacles signifies in a reading. A generous provider, enjoying abundance, pleasure through the senses, successful fertility, the ability to share with others. Very much so. Again, this card is not a selfish energy. And then, behind the mysterious door, a journal question to explore the Queen of Pentacles more deeply. What abundance do I share with others? I think that's cool. And magic words, affirmation for the Queen of Pentacles is, abundance comes easily to me. So I think that's really cool. And so we'll go over the various descriptors here in a bit. So I think I've touched upon, so with like love, we're talking about whether it be romantic or platonic. This is somebody who's a nurturer, who loves to take care of their significant other or their friends, making sure that they're happy. This is someone who can very much be depended upon. With career, it's a mentor, somebody very knowledgeable who doesn't mind sharing their knowledge base, kind of like seen as the mother of the work area. And with finances, again, this is somebody very financially responsible and using the resources they do have. So again, this doesn't necessarily equate to a wealthy person. It's all in how this energy utilizes the resources they have. So I'll go over the descriptors I've written down to be thorough. So we have welcoming, luxury, motherly figure, love, attachment with nature, so very much grounded, loves being in nature, comfort, abundance, happiness, physical security, possibly wealth, loves life, self-sufficient, prefers nature to cities. So unlike her king, there is no castle in the background. She's in nature. Enjoys being alone, but again, not averse to being around other people. So we do have some hermit vibes on top of our empress vibes, right? Generous, nurturing, and comforting. So with love, this is stability, domestic comforts. This is somebody that's going to make a home, you know. Their way of showing love is making sure that people have a warm meal. It's a clean house. This is the energy that's helping the kids out with their homework to make sure they're not frazzled and understand what they're doing. This is somebody who's raising that garden and possibly canning the things that they grow, growing flowers outside to make the home beautiful, inviting people over to develop a sense of community. That's the energy we're looking at. And again, it can be a male or female, even though we're talking about the queen. Again, sex, again, doesn't matter. With career, it's somebody who's successful. It's a mentor. Finances, stability, and security. Living within one's means, right? So you don't have to be rich in money to have this energy. And then we're going to go into some of the symbolism here. So with the ram, synonymous also with Aries, Capricorn. The ram is also seen as a symbol of spring, because that's the Aries time frame, you know. So that's toward the spring. The rabbit is high energy and fertility. The winged sun on the crown stands for divinity, power. It's a nod to the Egyptian god Horus, which means to become, to be, to create. Again, this is the creator. Grass is in the card, very much symbolic of earth and water. So being that queens, all of them are intuitive and in touch with water, with their intuition. This is what happens when earth combines with water. We have grass. Because think about it, if we don't have water, then we've got dirt that you can't grow anything in, right? It's parched. So there has to be some water there. The pear, again, being from the rose family, standing for vitality and spiritual enlightenment. So I really like how all of these symbols have meaning for this card. All the colors have a meaning. Everything is done with an intent and a purpose, you know. Now, with the reversals, we're talking, generally speaking, about the opposite of the upright meaning. So say if reversals don't resonate with you, don't sweat it. You don't have to read them. There are no hard set rules in tarot. So what we're generally talking about is, you know how we, like in the upright position, we were talking about somebody very loving, motherly, nurturing, wanting to take care of others, very much sharing their abundance, right? When it's in reverse, we do not have that. We have somebody who is not self-sufficient. They can be very greedy with this energy that we're talking about with the reversal, not wanting to share with others, wanting what others have, insecure with romantic and platonic friendships. With career, this is somebody who may be looking at others around them and comparing themselves, because when she's upright, our queen's not comparing herself to other people, okay? She's really not. Now in reverse though, with reversal energy, we would be talking about that. And of course with finances, we're talking about somebody who's squandering their finances and so forth, and to where they don't have this sense of security and abundance, right? So here we have a loss of connection with nature, because she very much is grounded in nature and very happy to be in nature. So when it's in reverse, that person, that energy no longer feels that connection to nature, and they need that. I think we all need that, right, as human beings. selfish, insecure, envious. It can also be a smothering presence, because from insecurity, that's where you get the jealousy, greed, possessiveness. That energy can come from a reversal. So we're looking at shallow and selfish interactions within relationships. With career, it could be unreliable, jealous of others. And finances is mismanagement, and it could be hoarding. So remember the law of attraction. With abundance, you give abundance and you get even more back. Well, with it in reverse, instead of kind of honoring that law of attraction and sharing that wealth and abundance, they would be hoarding it. And so, no, that wouldn't play out well, really. If you really think about the law of attraction, it doesn't. So that is everything I wanted to come with, our review with the descriptors. And so now we'll go over the various things. And I've already reviewed a lot of what these symbols on this card mean. And so, yeah, so these are the predominant ones that the author of this deck found to be the focus of the Queen of Pentacles. And it is based from Rider-Waite-Smith, from where she's getting these symbols. So if this deck resonates with you, I would say totally get it. The companion book, it's like a PDF that you download. It's like 150 some pages long, and she goes into symbols and everything. So I certainly see that as a valuable asset to have to your tarot collection. And so let's see here. Our next card, I love this card. This is probably one of my favorites. We have this beautiful woman of color. I love her eyeshadow. It is so pretty. I love that blue color. And she's got on her little head wrap here. And I just love how she's got these little branches just sprouting. Like, she is so connected to nature. She's comfortable. Look at her arms and her body language. And intuitive. So her eyes are closed. She's inwardly reflecting, possibly meditating, being present. And she is dressed just beautifully. She's got a pillow behind her, and she's situated out. And she's surrounded with these beautiful trees, mountains in the distance. And it's just, she is just loving life. And she is right where she wants to be, being very much present. I love this energy. I just love what they did with the art on this. This is from my Light Seers deck. It's awesome. With this one, we have our little crow friend, and she's got a little crown above her head here. And there's our pentacle. There's our rabbit. So that's a nod toward the Rider-Waite-Smith. We've got our flowers. Let's see here. This to me looks like the moon. This is like moon energy. So again, we've got that lunar, feminine, intuitive energy. We've got the tree in the background, and that looks to me to be like apples. So we have that bounty, and we have behind her just this butterfly. That's like her staff, but it's got like a little butterfly, that monarch, which just shows that beauty and transformation, right? Like, I love it. So again, there's a lot of symbols that can carry over. It may not have all of them, but at least we do have some that carry over, right? And then with our Queen of Pentacles here, I love how this lady, her hair is like flowing in the wind, and how she's very just gently just cusping that pentacle. And look how it's got roots into the ground. And there's mountains in the distance, and around her she's got flowers and grass. And it shows just that interconnectedness with earth and growth. She is a creator. Like, I love that energy so much, you know. And then with the Hush Tarot, I don't hate this card, but I don't love it either necessarily. I like the art. This is the card that is not Rider-Waite-Smith based. And we see a bride, And it could be like she's the bride of Earth. Like she is like Mother Earth in a way. Like I could kind of see some similarities, and she's surrounded by nature, vegetation. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like she is married to her love, which is Earth. And then when we think of somebody with this energy, as far as getting married, we're thinking of the creator, what they're going to create from this union, this marriage, which is this abundance, right? So, yeah, I don't hate it. But again, if someone's learning, you cannot go wrong with the OG, you know. But again, beautiful art. And from the Hush Tarot, that this is not by any means like, say, my most disliked card or anything like that. So, and I'll just hold them up so you guys can compare what symbols carry over between the two cards. And that's why I see tarot decks as an investment, because they just build onto your understanding of tarot, just based on the way that different artists and authors choose to do their decks, you know. But by no means feel like you have to have a collection of decks, you know, especially if you find one that you really love and you connect with, then you invest your time and energy connecting with that one. Like for me, the one deck that I have that I'm very much connected to, that I do not read to others with, would be The Deviant Moon by Patrick Valenza. I hope I'm saying his last name correctly. That was my first tarot deck I ever got. I don't really resonate with the Rider-Waite-Smith, and I wanted something a little bit darker and more artistic. So for me, it's like this personal connection with my deck. So I think it's totally good to have, say, your own deck. And they say that you get more accurate readings if you have a deck that's dedicated for your own use. The thing is when you read for others, you're always having to clean that deck, because as hard as it may seem to understand this, especially people not familiar with this line of thinking, we all have an energy signature. No, you cannot see it. But we leave that, like say, when you're reading for people, especially, they can leave that on the cards. And so in between uses, you want to clean that deck so that negative energy that attaches to them doesn't carry forward to your reading or the readings for others. And there's different ways of cleaning your decks, and we won't go into that with this Go Live. But I would definitely say research it, or feel free to ask me how I do it, and I'll share how I do it. So I think that sums us up for the Queen of Pentacles. And I've really enjoyed looking up this card and spending this time with you, going over all this good stuff and all the symbolism. And so I will be back probably sooner rather than later. I'm going to research the King of Pentacles now when I get off here, and I'll jump back on later and I'll knock out the King of Pentacles. And then, as always, feel free to leave me any comments or message me privately if you have a question. I do not believe in stupid questions. I would probably say if there was a stupid question, it would be the one that was never asked. Because if you don't ask, how do you know? You know? And yeah, I think that sums it up. So I will see you soon. Bye.